Hello everyone, my name is Adnan Ahmed and today's topic is top 8 IELTS reading techniques that you can use while appearing in IELTS exam. So without wasting time, let's jump into the topic. Number 1, don't spend too much time in reading. It means don't read slowly. Well, in IELTS, the people who have appeared already and want to improve their score, or the people who are planning to appear in IELTS and they are getting certain techniques or they are gathering information that how to score better, they should know that reading is the only module in which the time management is the most important thing that you have to keep in mind. What happens when you read slowly? When you read slowly, there is 1 hour given to you to answer all the questions. Normally, there are 40 questions. The time when I appeared, I hope it's the same thing now. 1 hour, you have to skim and scan the idea quickly. It's not necessary that you should know the meaning of each and every word. Why? Because the more you spend time in understanding the whole passage, the less time will be left for you to get the answers and transfer them to the answer sheet. Number 1 is clear, don't read slowly. The second one is don't spend too much time answering one question. There are 40 questions. Keep in mind, if you are not getting the answer of a certain question in time, forget about it. Jump to the next one, because that one question can waste your time. If you're going to spend, for example, 5 minutes on that question, how much time is left? 55 minutes, and you have to manage those 55 minutes in 39 questions. You have to answer 39 questions in 55 minutes. It means, do you have sufficient time? No. So you have to jump to the next question in case you don't know the exact answer of that question. Don't spend too much time answering one question. If you're not getting the answer, you have to jump to the next one. The third is, as I have told you, there is 1 hour given to you. What you have to do? You have to manage the time. You have to segregate the time. You have to divide the time. Normally, keep in mind, paragraph number 1 or passage number 1 is relatively easy. That is seen is relatively easy than passage number 2, and passage number 2 is relatively easy compared to passage number 3. So in first passage you have to divide the time in such a way, like if there's 1 hour, 17 for first, 20 for the second, and 23 for the last passage. But here you have to keep in mind that in this division I'm not giving you time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now that was an example. It means that you can segregate, divide the time as per your own choice. The main thing, the basic thing, or the basic instruction being an IELTS instructor I can give you is that you have to spend comparatively less time on passage 1, more time in passage 2, and more than that in passage 3. Why? Because the first passage is considerably easy as compared to the second, and the second is considerably easy as compared to the third. The more you go ahead, the more tougher passages you will see. So you have to manage the time. The fourth technique is you must have enough time to transfer your answer to the answer sheet. Well, you have to answer 40 questions. And if you have wasted 50 minutes on 3 passages, do you really think 10 minutes are sufficient for you to transfer your answers? You have to be very clever. Why? Because your answer sheet is the only thing that is going to get checked in order to give you the band score that you actually performed. Because according to your performance, how many answers you have written correct, the correct answers would be considered. Am I right? So they are not going to check you what you have written in the passages and what is the skill or technique that you have used in answering the question. So You must divide the time in such a way that you have sufficient time to transfer your answer to the answer sheet. Number 5, 3 words or less. Write 3 words or less. You have to read the instruction carefully. If the examiner is asking you not to write more than 2 or 3 words, it means you should not answer in 4 words or 5 words. That's not your choice. You have to go through, skim and scan the idea. You have to come up with the appropriate answer, and you have to explain it, or you have to put the answer on the answer sheet in 2 to 3 words. That's it. That is the instruction given by the examiner to you. So it's not your choice that it's okay, I can write 4 or 5 words in order to justify my answer. No, that answer would be declared or considered wrong. Instruction is clearly saying that do not write more than 2 or 3 words. It means the margin is between 2 to 3. Either these are 2 or 3. You can't write 1 word, you can't write 4, you can't write 5. Why? Because the instruction is clearly saying that do not write 2 to 3 words, more than 2 to 3 words in your answer. Okay, let's jump to the next technique. The next technique is spelling. Yeah, we are not native, I say in all my videos, so you have to consider your spellings, that these are correct. Do not write wrong spelling. Even if one spelling is misspelled, your answer would be considered wrong. So you must be very good at writing the spellings of different words. For example, you write difficult, D-I-F-F-C-U-L-T, that's correct. D-E-F-F-I-C-U-L-T, wrong. Your answer would be considered wrong. So you have to be very much focused on the spellings. While transferring your answers to the answer sheet, you have to make sure that the spellings of the word that you are supposed to write on the answer sheet, they are correct. No misspelled. Misspelling would lead you to lower band score. Next technique is grammar, the most crucial part that no one, a learner who is learning a new language in English or any language, grammar is the most hectic part for the newcomers, new learners. But at the end of the day, the reality is, if you write wrong, if second, for instance, that on the answer sheet you are supposed to write went, the sentence is in past indefinite and you're writing go, would be considered wrong. Why? Because in the sentence the examiner has used past indefinite tense and you are putting first form of verb that has nothing to do with past indefinite tense, unless the sentence is interrogative or negative, because we use did not and did when it comes to interrogative sentences and negative sentences. So I'm not here to teach you tenses anyway, but I was just putting an example to make you clear about the grammar rules, that when it comes to grammar, if you are supposed to write the first form of the verb, there should be first form. If the sentence is past tense, indefinite tense is a simple sentence, then you have to use the second form of the verb. And if you don't consider the grammatical structure while answering your question, make sure your answer would be considered wrong, because that is a wrong answer. That's not what you're supposed to do there. That's a language test. You have to digest this reality that when it comes to language, there is no compromise. On language, you have to be very clear. You have to be very much careful about writing whatever the hell you are writing on the answer sheet. Anyways, next move to the last one. Most of the people, I'm included, I appeared 3 times in IELTS. We don't read the instructions appropriately. What happens, normally we are nervous while we are sitting in the exam. That's natural, and anyone can get confused. But don't let the confusion prevail on your mind in such a way that you're ignoring the instructions. In any exam, irrespective it's IELTS, it's any other exam, when the question paper is in front of you, you are supposed to read the question carefully, because question is telling you what to answer. For instance, the topic is about, like, the article is given regarding biology. and you are answering in you are answering on chemical reactions. I'm not talking about IELTS, I'm talking about general exams that you're supposed to answer the questions. So your answer would be considered wrong. Why? Because the biological phenomena is uh, asked in the question, and you are giving your answer in chemistry. That would be definitely considered wrong. So these were the 8 techniques that I was here to let you know. You can sharpen your skills, techniques. Well, you have to keep in mind the techniques that I was about to tell you. I have told all of them, but you have to keep in mind is you have to practice. All these things come through practice. You have to read newspaper, you have to practice the test material that is available in the market easily. You know very well, the people who are like planning to appear in IELTS, they know that the material is there in the market. You should practice as much as you can. If you're not a good reader, honestly, you're not going to score good. People are there on the YouTube, they say do this, do that, but actually these were the techniques. These techniques are for those who have a good practice. If you have never read anything, and is even a single sentence, and you're just trying to like apply these techniques, and you think that you will score good, I don't think so. That is my suggestion. Well, exceptions are there in all the cases. Depending on how good you are in English, you may score good after applying these techniques. But the major technique, the conclusion of these 8 techniques is you have to practice, you have to read a lot in order to get a good band score in IELTS. What happens normally? Because you are habitual, you know how to skim and scan the ideas from the given passage. You have to take an overall overview of every passage that is given to you in IELTS. It's not necessary. I'm telling you again and again that it's not necessary, it's not compulsory, it's not essential for you to know the meaning of each and every single word written on the passage or given in the passage. What you have to do is you have to practice a lot of material. You should go through news books, you should read the English books, you have to skim and scan the idea. You must be in a position to understand whatever is written in the passage, that is about what is the topic discussed, and you have to underline the important informations like figures, dates, and these were the extra techniques that I was telling you. So I hope you would follow these techniques, and I wish you all the best in your IELTS. And thank you so very much. My name is Adnan Ahmed, and I will come with new nice video in next few days. Look after yourself and your family. God bless you. Bye.